wait for everyone to hop in. Fix the lighting. That looks cool. Cool. Don't need that. What topic did I say first? I think it's Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, shoot. No, here we go. Freebird said that. Hi, how are you? All right, we got one. We got one. We're just waiting for a few more people to join, and then we'll get started. Hi, Kelly. How are you? Man, there's so much to talk about today. I think I've got 3 topics down, but we could talk about more. I'll probably do a Q&A after that because there's a lot going on today. Cool, I'm just gonna wait. I got on like a tad bit early, so I'm just gonna wait a minute and then I'll get started. Hello. I'm good, how are you feeling? No, I'm really good. If you guys saw my video earlier today, I was telling you just what was going on with my family. It's just been so much going on with my family. So it's been heavy, it's been a lot, but I'm doing really good. I have my moments sometimes, which is okay, and I'm learning those are okay. But yeah, doing really good. Just had a tragedy about 2 weeks, I believe it was about 2 weeks ago. All my dates are like running together. But you know, it's life, and I always think whoever goes is in a better place and all that stuff. And I've been helping my family, so there's that. Cool. All right, well, I think I'll go ahead and get started. So I'm guessing we should start. So what I wanted to cover today, and then if you have questions or anything you want to talk about at the end, just let me know and we can talk about that because there's a lot going on. Well, all good, and the weather is great. So someone said the weather is great. I do really appreciate the weather right now. It's very crisp and very fall, and I'm very much enjoying it. Very, very much. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Kyle Rittenhouse case and sort of the media coverage on this. It's pretty wild what the media is still trying to do. So I'll talk a little bit about Kyle Rittenhouse. Oh, okay, so someone said about Kyle Rittenhouse, don't know if you heard, but Kyle's probably going to get the gun charge dropped as well. Yes, this is true. He's probably going to get that gun charge dropped, which is good. If justice is served, Kyle Rittenhouse will walk. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. So I wanted to talk about him. I want to see you go wild like the media. I don't know what that means. So wanted to talk about that. Wanted to talk a little bit about this Travis Scott situation. Hi, Glenn Allen. How are you doing? Wanted to talk a little bit more about this Travis Scott situation. There's more stuff that's coming out, and there's stuff I wanted to talk about. And the reason, thank you so much, Steven. That is so sweet. The reason I'm talking about Travis is because this has a lot of elements of what we normally talk about. Media spins. Sort of celebrity and idolatry. And a lot of kids are starting to wake up to this stuff, which I think is really, really cool. Consumer culture, just all of that stuff. So I think that has a lot of really interesting elements. So I'll talk about updates with that. We can talk about Alec Baldwin. There's some really interesting updates there. And if there's anything else like, I know this isn't super political tonight, but if there's anything else politically you want to talk about, we can. But before we get into all of that, I will say this. Why is this case getting so much attention? Okay, I'll get to that in a second. That's a really good question. False idol worship, totally. And you know what is so cool? Why I've been paying so much attention to this Travis Scott case is because a lot of really young people are waking up to, because of this terribly tragic situation, a lot of really young people are waking up to this. I've been going through their TikToks, and it's Yay, she made it. I made you moderator. A lot of really young people are waking up to this and they're talking about this. And I think this is free Kyle, jail Travis Scott. Totally agree with you. A lot of young people are waking up to this, which I think is awesome. And this is one of the reasons I've been so, and a lot of them are saying the same things that we say. They're saying defund the media, and they're pissed off. They're pissed off because they saw the coverage of Dave Chappelle. Shoot, see, this is what happens. Like, I can't stay focused and I go crazy. So a lot of people are pointing out, like a lot of lefty people are pointing out, they're like, man, Dave Chappelle, oh my gosh, I've been in the South too long. I just said Dave Chappelle. They're saying Dave Chappelle, I need to get out of the South. They're saying Dave Chappelle got reamed in the media for phobic jokes, right? And people are sort of being a little bit nicer to Travis Scott about people actually dying in his concert. And it's not just like this was a freak accident. This was like this guy for years, and we're going to get into this later. This guy for years has been, first of all, he got in trouble 2 times for inciting riots at his shows. And he brags about people getting injured at his shows. Like, there's just, we're going to go into that later, but this is a whole thing. Nothing wrong with a Southern accent. Come on now. It comes, I've been in Virginia for like 8 months now, and I've lived in California for 5 years. So when it comes out, it just shocks me, but it comes out at Rage the State. Yeah, that's what he promotes. He promotes that sort of culture. So we'll get into that in just a second, but that's why I've been so interested in this story, is all of these young people just waking up to the reality of the media and just idolizing these celebrities. Chris, you are awesome. Thank you for the fun lives. Thank you so much, Chris. That's really sweet. I appreciate that. It's fascinating me to see what these kids are saying, because they're saying what you and I have been saying for a few years now, and it's pretty awesome. Virginia is not really the South, from someone in Alabama. Okay, so Daniel Owens just said Virginia is not really, Travis Scott, never heard of her. Ha! Someone just said Virginia is not really the South. I'm from Alabama. Well, let me tell you something. I'm originally from Georgia, okay? So I totally understand what you're saying, and that's what when I lived in Denver, Colorado, I had a few friends that were from Virginia, and they would talk about that being the South, and I'd be like, you don't know what the South is. Virginia is not the South, that's the North. I understand it's under the Mason-Dixon line, but it's the North. But now that I've lived in California and I'm back and I hear the accents, I'm like, okay, it's different. Maybe it's not the Deep South. So there's the Deep South, and then there's the South. So it's definitely not the Deep South. Happy Sunday, Vid. Sorry I missed. Okay, cool. Well, I'm glad you're here now. There's so much to talk about. There's a lot to go through. And before we start, I know you guys don't care about Britney Spears, but this is interesting too, and I want to point this out. So Britney Spears, I know you don't care about Britney Spears. I know that's what we don't talk about on this channel. Maybe a few of you do, but I think this is interesting too, because again, I've been following this Free Britney movement, and this is what you need to know about this. So Britney Spears, she's a big pop artist. Leave Britney alone. She's a big pop artist. She's been in this conservatorship since 2008 for 13 years, right? And so Kelly likes Britney. Kelly and I have that in common. You better get off Virginia. So anyway, she's been in this conservatorship for 13 years. And there's been a lot of questions about this conservatorship. Is it unjust? Are they taking her rights away? We're not saying she's perfect. We're not saying she's not going to make mistakes, but does she deserve this amount of restriction? For instance, she does not have control over her money. She has to get everything okayed with, can I get a Starbucks? She doesn't have control over her cell phone, like all these crazy things. And the reason I talk about this is because, again, these Free Britney people, they say the same things that we do. They call out the corrupt media. They call out fake news CNN. They call out all of these. Zombie says she doesn't have basic civil rights. It's insane. Exactly. Free Britney. Yeah, so she does not have these basic civil rights. And it's like, you can argue, like, we don't know what her total mental health is. But when you're from California and you see all these people living on the streets, it's like, does Britney not have give her the opportunity to make mistakes? If she's going to make mistakes, she's an adult and that's her life. And you're letting people live on the streets and do drugs, and she can't even have control over her own life. Well, she deserves to be free. Audit, yes. So anyway, this movement, this Free Britney movement, started by her fans. And this movement started by her fans, and the media smeared them as conspiracy theorists. But they never let up. They did not relent, and they kept going. And what her fans did is they started researching, and they were finding court documents, and they were getting all of this information and putting it out there in the public. And it got to the point where people could not ignore it. And Britney finally found her voice. And anyway, she had court today, and they ended the conservatorship. And she thanked her fans, her Free Britney fans. She wore a Free Britney shirt. She thanked her fans. She said, "Good God, I love you so much." And I just thought that was really cool. And she might make mistakes. Who knows? But that's her prerogative, right? That's her life. She's an adult. I get to make mistakes. You get to make mistakes. She gets to make mistakes. Who cares? But I think it's really cool, and they found a lot of stuff. And so that was something that happened today. She had court. Her early stuff is pretty good. Yeah, really good. I mean, and that's the thing about Britney. Like, I grew up with her. That's why I know who she is, and I know her stuff. And you can make a lot of arguments about her, but that girl had stage presence, and she had something that not a lot of artists had. If there was an it factor, she had it, and she was a phenomenon. But I just think that's really cool, and I think that's relevant to a lot of things that we talk about. The biased media, the slandering of the media, the narrative of the media, because for so long, Free Britney, Free Kyle, absolutely. For so long, the media painted her as crazy and painted this conservatorship as something that she needed. Well, there was a lot going on that the media did not report on, and these fans were uncovering this stuff and putting it out there. So it was a cool day for them. It was a cool day. I think it was necessary at the time. Okay, so someone was saying, yeah, she had a lot of issues, so it might have been necessary at the time. Exactly, and that's the issue. It's like, it might have been necessary at the time, but 13 years later, and she can't make any decisions for herself. Not a fan, but she deserves freedom, as we all do. Exactly. And a lot of the Free Britney movement people, a few of them were not fans of Britney. They were lawyers, and to them, this was a human rights issue. It wasn't a Britney Spears fan issue, but the way that the media would spin it as these are obsessed fans who don't know what's going on. And the real Free Britney people, the real people who were bringing up these court documents, were like, we're not fans, we're lawyers, and we just thought this was a human rights issue, and we just started uncovering these things. And then we were like, whoa, when they started uncovering all these documents. And so that's what really started it all. And it was a really cool day. It's not about her well-being, it's about controlling her money. Yes, and there is some shisty stuff going on. Paparazzi were constantly harassing her. Yeah, that was back in the day when paparazzi, and imagine she was going through a divorce, a custody battle, and the paparazzi were on her like crazy. So that's a lot of the time. Britney is a grown woman. No one should own her, for sure. All of us. And that's, that's why I bring it up on this channel, because we talk about freedom all the time. We talk about it's your power to make your own decisions and to own your own life, and to make it's your prerogative to make your own mistakes, and then to suffer the consequences of your own mistakes that you make. That's what you get to do as an adult. If you make mistakes, there's consequences. You don't need a conservatorship to control your every move if there's no reason for you to do that. And this woman, Britney, was on she did world tours. She was working, making millions of dollars. And there's other questions about, so this might actually go deeper than just her being controlled. So get ready for more stuff to come out because there's a lot of issues with a lot of missing money with her. So things might come out, I don't know, but I just thought that was really cool what happened today. I thought it was very cool that she acknowledged her fans and modern slavery. And this girl was, I listened to her court case when she was testifying in court a few months ago, and she was crying saying, I was scared to say something because I didn't think anyone would believe me because I'm Britney Spears, and they would be like, oh, who cares? She's rich, she's a pop star, we don't care, like, you know. I think Britney is a very public example of what has been happening to child stars for almost 100 years. Yeah, I agree with this. Oh, before we get started, so we talk about ghost stories sometimes on this channel. Do you want to know a creepy story about one of her ex-houses? Yeah, conservatorships are appropriate when someone is neglecting their own well-being. Okay, no one responded to that, but I'm just going to tell you anyway. So we'll get started on Kyle Rittenhouse, but I wish I knew, when we were talking on Halloween, I wish I remembered this story because this is actually a really creepy story. I don't think I told it to you. You know what, Hammerstein? Yeah, let's hear them. Okay, I'll tell you, Chris. Hammer, I have not been paying attention to that case. I think maybe I already did. Okay, I won't tell you then. I have not been paying attention to that case. Yes, the one about the house. Darn it, I did tell you that. Okay, I'm not going to tell you then. I have not been paying attention to so someone tell me, okay, I'll just tell you just the quick version of the story, just super quick. It's creepy. It's interesting story. I have not been paying attention to is it Ahmed Aubrey case. I have not been paying a lot of attention to that. I've been more focused on Kyle, and the reason I've been more focused on Kyle is because I was actually watching a few of the journalists that were on the witness stand in that case, Drew Hernandez, Richie McGinnis, and then Elijah Schaefer. Although Elijah Schaefer was not on the witness stand, I was actually following that real time. So the night this happened, I was watching video footage as this was coming out. And that's why I was a lot more interested in this case, because at first it was really confusing. You couldn't understand what was going on and all that. And then I was watching it unfold. I was watching how the media covered it. So this is just something that I knew about from the beginning. And the reason I was following this is because during that summer, hi, Kelly. During that summer, I was talking on my channel a lot about the riots. So this is something that I was super invested in the very beginning. And I just missed I think I'm saying his name correctly, the Ahmed Aubrey case. I just missed that whole thing. I think that happened before I started YouTube. And then I didn't follow it because I was following so many other things. So it's just not something I know a lot about. It's not something I was invested in for that reason. So it's not something I feel comfortable giving an opinion on, just because I don't know what's happening. I've seen a few headlines here and there, but I don't know what's happening with that. Okay, I'll just give you the quick Britney Spears story just for the ones that didn't hear it. It's just I like ghost stories. Okay, so, and then we'll move on to Kyle Rittenhouse. I have a few things to read to you about the media coverage of Kyle Rittenhouse. Okay, so Britney Spears had this house on Rising Glen Road in the Hollywood Hills, and it was one of her first houses that she bought. It was during her early career, and she had this house. She had a weekend of partying. She went out and partied, and then I guess was feeling kind of like hungover and tired from partying. She wanted to detox. She wanted to cleanse her energy. This is a very Hollywood thing that you do. So she hired a Reiki healer. It's someone that does all this like spiritual stuff to come to her house and like cleanse her house, right? So the healer comes in, cleanses her house, and then afterward, Britney Spears felt really weird. She almost felt like the person like opened a portal in her house. Not saying I believe this is just what Britney said. Felt really weird. The person like opened a portal, but she just felt odd in the house. So weird. She actually left the house with all of her furniture in it and went and stayed in a hotel and sold the house. with the furniture in it. She felt freaked out. She felt like there was something in the house. She didn't like the house. And then the house sold, and it sold to Britney Murphy. And this was the house that Britney Murphy lived in when she passed away. And Britney Murphy also expressed feeling really uncomfortable in the house. She would tell her boyfriend when they were driving down Sunset Boulevard, that's the road that you're driving down before you go into Rising Glen Road, which is there where they left. She told her boyfriend, I don't want to stay in this house. I don't feel comfortable there. I don't like it. It doesn't have good energy. Can we stay at a hotel? Like, please. She would beg him. And he would say, no, we spent all of this money on the house. We have this big, beautiful house. Why would we not stay in it? Anyway, Britney passed away in that house, Britney Murphy. And then a few months later, her husband passed away in the house. So a lot of people say that the house is cursed. Since then, it has had several owners and they redid the house. And even now, it's still, I think no one lives in it for too long. It's always on sale. So that's creepy. I know I've told you guys that before, but I was saying it to the people that didn't know the story. Okay, so let's talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. I just remember them thinking it was black mold. Yeah, well, so someone said it was black mold. They tested the house. There was no black mold. So that was debunked. I've been watching the Kyle Rittenhouse trials the whole time. It is cursed. Yikes. Yeah, it's just one of those weird stories. Like, what's going on there? Maybe it is cursed. Who knows? We don't know. But weird, right? Okay, so the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Thank you for telling the story. The Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Renovating. Oh, okay, you were talking to someone else. So the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, the really interesting thing about this trial is you are going to be able to tell very quickly who's actually watching the trial and who is watching the left-wing media coverage of the trial. Because if you have been watching the trial, first of all, I do want to say this. I saw Kyle Rittenhouse's testimony, and it was very clear that this boy has post-traumatic stress syndrome. Why can't I talk right now? Post-traumatic stress syndrome. It is very clear that he had this when he was trying to recount what happened to him, that PTSD, post-traumatic stress syndrome. It was very clear that it was almost like he was starting to go in a panic attack, recounting what happened that night when he was on the witness stand. And here's the thing about Kyle. First of all, you never want, typically they will advise, if you're the defendant, you should not go on the witness stand. It's just bad news. If you're being cross-examined, you might say something wrong. You might accidentally say something that they can spin another way. I thought that Kyle did a really good job. I thought he did a great job of answering the questions. He was solid. He was clear. And I think it humanized him. That's an iffy deleted comment. Thank you guys who are the new moderators. But I think it really humanized him because we have not really heard him talk a lot. So I was really proud of how he handled himself on the witness stand, but it was very clear that he had a lot of trauma from what happened that night. And apparently what I found out earlier is he actually has been in therapy for post-traumatic stress disorder. But what's crazy is, so the whole trial, and let me just tell you this, I've seen the footage and it's very clear what happened. There's not a question what happened. It's all on camera. And this is thanks to independent journalists. CNN wasn't in there. Fox News wasn't in there. MSNBC wasn't in there. None of these corporate media outlets were in there. It was independent journalists. Drew Hernandez, Elijah Schaefer, Richie McGinnis, all those guys were in there. The Daily Caller, Blaze TV. No corporate media was in there. And if it wasn't for these guys, we would not have this information and they would have burned Kyle at the stakes. Or something even worse would have happened to Kyle. I don't know. So it's thanks to them that we have this footage. So first of all of this is on camera, you guys. All of it. All of it. Even the New York Times actually came out. They did a really good story. Hi, Danielle. Oh! Hi, Danielle. I know Danielle personally. She's my family. Oh, that's so cool. I have a family here today. She doesn't really know she's my family, but she's like my family. I like Danielle. That's my buddy. I'm gonna see her in a few days. That's so cool. I'm glad you're here. So we have all of this information on camera. It's already there on camera. Oh, she said heart. That's so cool. So we have all this information on camera, right? And then we have the whole trial, and we have where Gage basically admits, the lone survivor, right? He basically admits, I was pointing my gun right at Kyle's head before he shot. He admitted this on the stand, which is basically saying, okay, so Kyle thought his life was in danger, right? So that's why he shot. So all of this is going on, and the mainstream media is still trying to spin Kyle as the bad guy. It's wild to watch. So that's the preface. I'm going to read you these articles now about what the media is doing and how they're trying to spin it, because they're still doing this. Gage went and did an interview on Good Morning America where he was playing the victim, and he backtracked. Hi, Kent. Good Morning America deleted their statement. Good. Okay, so this is what Don Lemon said. We love Don Lemon. Don Lemon is what I like to call him. So he says, speaking on Friday morning, CNN's Don, anyway, it's very clear to tell who watched the trial and who didn't. So your coverage is going to say, did you watch it or did you not? Or that's what your opinion is going to say. Don Lemonhead. Hey, Sarah, finally caught your show. Siri, shut up. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, speaking on Friday morning, CNN's Don Lemon, who looked at the riots plaguing the country in 2020, tried to justify them, ripped into Kyle Rittenhouse, responding to CNN's Brianna Marie Keller, I don't know, calling his actions, okay, so they called this, and this is while the trial is going on. And first of all, that was a really bad move by Gage. Whatever his lawyer told him to do, that was a bad move by going on to Good Morning America and CNN before the trial's even over. So the trial's still happening, and he's going on this press tour. Not a good mood. Not a good move. And you know what? I hope, I don't know if this will happen, but I hope. So if you watched Good Morning America, so in court, Gage said, the gun, I had my weaponry pointed in Kyle's direction before Kyle did the thing to my arm. That's what he said in court. And then he goes on Good Morning America and he says something completely different. He says the opposite. So the take that I heard was like, a really good prosecutor will try to get him for perjury. And if they try, it will sue him for or charge him with perjury. And if they charge him for perjury, he's either going to go on trial for perjury, or he's either going to be in court for perjury, or he's going to have to admit that what he said on Good Morning America was false. I would love to see that. Did you guys know that I was a juror once and the case that I worked on was perjury? So that does happen. You can do a whole different case for perjury, and it was for someone that lied on the stand. So either he lied on the stand, or either he lied on the stand under oath, or he lied on Good Morning America. So which one was it? And if he lied under oath, that's not legal. So we'll see what happens with that. Okay, so let's continue. So this Brianna on CNN called Kyle Rittenhouse a white wannabe vigilante, agreeing it was the vigilante lifestyle, snapping, this is what she said, this is the ultimate entitlement, adding, I see someone breaking the law, I call the cops. So basically they're saying that if you want to go out and protect property and protect businesses from being burnt down, that is the ultimate entitlement. But keep in mind, most of the rioters that were arrested in Kenosha, most of the rioters that were in Kenosha were people that did not live in Kenosha. So it's not entitlement to go into a town that you know nothing about, that is not your town. It's not entitlement to go there and burn down businesses and terrorize residents. That's not entitlement. It's entitlement if you go and protect those businesses. And by the way, the businesses were very appreciative of the people who protected them. And also, and this is coming from people that were in Kenosha during this time. This was never really reported, but there were people that lived in Kenosha that were afraid being in their homes, that were going and staying in churches because they were afraid, and they were like, maybe no one will attack the church, because people were really close to residential areas. In January, Le Mans justified the protest that had plagued the country with violence and looting during the summer of 2020, as he compared them to the Capitol riot on January 6th, saying, "I'm sick of people comparing. You can't compare what happened this summer to what happened at the Capitol. It's two different things. One is built on people, on racial justice, on criminal justice, right, on reform, on police not beating up, or police treating other color differently than they do whites." Okay, that is not a lie. Those are facts. Go look at them. Kalar prompted Lemon's tirade by saying of the trials of Kyle Rittenhouse and the alleged killers of Ahmaud Arbery, there's this theme of okay, so they're comparing it to Ahmaud Arbery, and they're saying there's this theme of white wannabe vigilantism that I think encapsulates both of these trials, and I wonder what you think about it. Look, laws aside, how's the defense doing aside? What do you think about this idea that this is something that people do in some places that is still okay? And they went on to say, well, it's the same idea I was saying about the judge, Lamont answered. Lamont, this is okay because people are used to it. This is the ultimate, okay, this is where they go into the entitlement. This is the ultimate entitlement, that again, you can insert yourself into a situation with a gun that you're not supposed to be carrying, kill two people, injure, and it is your made to be and it is you that's made to be a hero by the public. You see someone jogging around the street and you take it into your hands. You think it's your responsibility to stop that person. You're not even sure if they're committing a crime. What is your street? It's your town. It's your country. It's the ultimate degree of entitlement when people believe that this is how they're supposed to be. What is right is saying about Kyle Rittenhouse is that, well, the government did. Who just sent that? Was that Kelly? Thank you, Kelly. That was really sweet. If you said anything, I didn't see it. Thank you so much. That's really sweet. She didn't notice the super chats yet. I didn't see that one. Thank you, Kelly. Did it say something? Can I read it? He was also truthful. She said, boo. Okay, I want to read you the rest of this, and then I'm going to give you my opinion, because this is what makes me crazy. He just said it right there. It's the ultimate degree of entitlement when people, this is so funny. This is the ultimate degree of entitlement when people believe this is how they're supposed to be. What the right is saying about Kyle Rittenhouse is, well, the government didn't do its job. So it took a 17-year-old kid to come in and do what is right. That's vigilantism. That's not what people are not supposed to be vigilantes. We're not supposed to be taking justice in our own hand. These are the same people that cry, defund the police. They don't want police. These are the same people that condemned police for going in and controlling the riots. And this is why, this attitude right here is why the government did not they could have ended, Kenosha had 2 nights in a row of rioting before this happened. Am I correct? It was one night or it was 2 nights, but it was way too many. Places were already burnt down. They were already destroyed. Residents were already scared. 3 total. Okay, so before this, there were 2 total nights of rioting before this happened. Police were not taking care of these areas. Police were guarding the courthouse down the street. So when you have people losing their livelihoods, the CurSource people almost lost everything. I had a comment, oh gosh, I don't think I can find it right now. I had a comment from a tattoo artist that lives in Kenosha. Today, I got this comment today from a tattoo artist that lives in Kenosha. He still doesn't have his shot back because of the riots. So when the government fails to do its job, you're going to have people that want to protect the livelihoods, want to protect people. You had residents in Kenosha going to spend the night in churches because they didn't think a church would be attacked. So you want to talk about entitlement. Isn't it entitled for someone? And by the way, a lot of the people that were rioting in Kenosha, they did not live in Kenosha. So everyone's like, why was Kyle there? And I agree, a 17-year-old should not have been there protecting anything. The government the police officers should have been there protecting things. The National Guard should have been there protecting things, but they were not. They said, I don't know if you guys know this, but the police were like, we're not going to be protecting property. So they were protecting the federal courthouse, and they had a line that was not anywhere near. That's why Kyle had to run as far as he did to go get police attention, because there were no police in this area. So when you have a failure of government, yes, people are going to step up and they're going to want to protect. So you're questioning, why did these people feel entitled to be there? Why did the rioters feel entitled to be there? Is no one asking that question? Why did they feel entitled to be there? No one's asking that. No one cares. And they're saying this was a protest for justice. Protests happen during the day. You get a permit, you go out and protest, you're welcome to be there all day, you chant whatever you want to chant, you say whatever you want to say, you make whatever point you want to make. You can be there during the day, but at nighttime, it's time to go home. If you're there at night, it's not a peaceful protest. If you're burning down car lots and buildings and dumpsters, that's not a protest, that's a riot. So if Kyle's not entitled to be there, no one else, what I'm saying right now, Kyle shouldn't have been there. He shouldn't have. But I understand why he went there. I don't understand why those rioters went there. That's what I hope. Yeah. So TNN said Kyle should sue CNN. I hope he does. But here's the thing. The judge already, so during the case, I remember the judge said at one point, he says, we have reports of people trying to film. So people are trying to threaten the jury. And that's what I'm afraid of. Is anyone aware of what happened with the O.J. Simpson trial and why they came to the verdict that they did? So if you know the O.J. Simpson trial, you're like, I hope this goes okay. But a lot of the jurors on the O.J. Simpson trial later said, yeah, we kind of thought he was guilty, but at the time tensions were so high, we just gave him the innocent whatever. None of what happened there was peaceful. So hopefully these jurors do. I mean, I don't know. I don't blame them. It's really hard. Glove didn't fit. So we'll see what happens. He can sue GoFundMe. Yeah, Kyle is going to sue Biden for calling him a white supremacist. I hope so. I hope he sues everyone. I hope he does. And I hope we'll see what happens. But if you're watching it, it's pretty clear. Yep, because Rodney King. Yeah, Rodney King. And it's crazy because I was really young when all that happened. So I remember watching the news and seeing the Bronco on the street and all the police are following the Bronco, and I remember seeing that, but I don't remember. I was too young to understand what was really going on with that. Okay, well, since we're talking about Kyle Rittenhouse, I do know that CBS changed this. They did retract what they said. So here's another article, and it says the CBS Mornings Twitter account posted, then deleted. So this is the amount of like gaslighting that the media does. It's crazy. I'm now all about defund the media. That's my thing. So it says the CBS Mornings. Who is this person? Storm B. What are they doing? Thank you. Thank you, Master. See, that's why I need you guys now. There's so many trolls now. You should see the tarded. There's so many trolls now. You should see. He's in the corner. Put baby in the corner. That's the thing. The more that you grow, yes, thank you guys. The more that you grow, the more trolls you get. And that's something I'm getting used to, but it happens. Okay, so this says the CBS Mornings Twitter account posted, then deleting a tweet claiming Kyle Rittenhouse murdered 2 men. So that's what they were saying. They were saying this was murder, but there's still a trial going on, a self-defense trial going on, so that you can't really say that. Social media users blasted. So, see, this is what's good. This is why social media is good. It keeps people accountable. Storm B can be a pilot. Social media users blasted the news organization for the slip, with many using the tweet as an example of a much larger problem of biased media reporting and commentary that has surrounded the trial. One person said, Kyle Rittenhouse testified. Oh, no, this was the CBS Morning. So this was the tweet that CBS had. It says, Kyle Rittenhouse testified in his trial yesterday, breaking down in tears as he told the jury he M'd 2 men at a Black Lives Matter protest in self-defense. So that's how the media can like really smear what happened. It wasn't a protest. I would call this a riot. I've seen protests. You know, I lived in West Hollywood. We have tons of protests there. I've seen protests. I know what those are supposed to look like. This was a riot. It was not a protest. But it looks like they... So one user said, bang up job, guys. Real Clear Investigation senior writer Mark Hemingway noted, again, a lot of Rittenhouse coverage and commentary is straight up libelous, which that for sure is. The Washington Examiner's Tim Carney called the CBS tweet politically motivated slander. They will slander you happily if they think you have bad politics, he tweeted. Someone else said, oh well then, no need for trials. CBS News has delivered its verdict. That was National Review. Earlier in the week, multiple media outlets downplayed the testimony from Gage Grosskreutz, his strange name, whom Rittenhouse has been charged with first-degree attempted for shooting him in the arm. That Grosskreutz, I don't know how to say his name, had leveled a gun at Rittenhouse before Rittenhouse shot his own. Headlines from the most left-leaning outlets focused on Grosskreutz's statements about fearing for his life or his claim that he had been surrendered to Rittenhouse, even though video shows otherwise, and defense questioning also led him to admitting that this was not the case. For example, the Washington Post original headline read, Gage Grosskreutz said he feared for his life before Kyle Rittenhouse shot him during Kenosha unrest. The headline has been altered to read, so they changed their headline. It's been altered to read, Gage says he feared for his life, pointed gun at Kyle before getting shot. So at least they changed it. MSNBC also posted a tweet with a caption that read, Man shot and seriously wounded by Kyle Rittenhouse in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Last year recounts the moments leading up to the near-fatal interaction, telling jurors he thought he was going to die. So you see how the media can take words that were actually said, but they can spin it. They'll be like, I'll take this little part, but not that little part. Outlets also continually referred to Grosskreutz as the lone survivor. So that was another thing that they were doing. Of the men shot by Rittenhouse, Rittenhouse shot Grosskreutz and killed other men on August 25th, 2020, amid riots and violence in Kenosha, Wisconsin, sparked over. Okay, so that's what the media is doing. And you want to know what's crazy? So I don't know if you guys are fans of, if you watch on Blaze TV, it's slightly offensive, Elijah Schaefer. He's a journalist that I follow, and he was actually there that night in Kenosha. But I just want to give you a snapshot of, just cracked a beer. It's on now. Cheers all. Great, Chris. I'm happy for you. I know Chris worked today. So Elijah Schaefer, this is just a snapshot. The judge is awesome. I love the judge. This is a snapshot of how crazy the riots were during the summer. So Elijah Schaefer, he's a journalist that I follow, and he was kind of a part of like the riot squad. And the reason I know this is because a lot of what I covered was, or a lot of what I talked about on this channel, what were like the riots, because I'm like, how is this happening? What is going on? And so Elijah is someone that I followed. Well, he was at Kenosha, and the reason he was at Kenosha, just listen to this. So he was in Chicago covering the riots in Chicago, and then got a phone call, it's going down in Kenosha. So he was like, oh, so he got in his car and drove from Chicago to Kenosha. I think it's like an hour drive, an hour and a half, something along those lines, correct me. And the same thing happened when he was in Philadelphia covering the riots there. Someone called him, and and he lives in Texas. So usually he'll fly to the area, cover it, and then go home. So the same thing happened in Philadelphia. He was in Philadelphia, flew to Philadelphia to cover the riots there, and then got a phone call, it's going down in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. So he rents a car, goes to Pennsylvania, cover that. That's how crazy it was during the summer of 2020. It was wild. Yes, and this judge is pretty awesome. Mandy said, I love Elijah Schaefer. I do too. Can that journalist testify to help Kyle? So I don't think Drew Hernandez testified, did an amazing job. Richie McGinnis, Drew Hernandez was independent at the time. Drew Hernandez, yeah. It's a skull. They're there for the destruction, Kelly says. They have nothing better to do. Agreed. Drew Hernandez, I think he was working for himself at the time, but I do know Richie McGinnis works for the Daily Caller. He was there. Both of those guys testified. There was a reason why Elijah didn't testify, and I can't remember exactly why that was. I don't remember, but there was a reason for it. But Drew Hernandez testified, did a great job. Richie McGinnis testified, did a great job. So there's that. And the judge is pretty awesome. The judge stopped several times to yell at the prosecution. The prosecution is clearly corrupt, in my opinion. They kept they have no case. It's so clear cut, they have no case. So they just kept trying to, at one point, they were trying to when Kyle was on the stand, the prosecution was like, so you remained silent, did you? Now you're testifying after you've seen all the evidence, so you're able to tailor your testimony to the evidence. And the judge was like, that is completely out of line. What are you talking about? You know this is wrong. That's the client's right to remain silent. And you're not allowed to do that. So the judge stopped him, cut him off. The judge yelled at the prosecution several times. Yeah. And I do know, I don't know what's happening now. I do know, I mean, the trial is ongoing. It's still going, but I do know that the defense asked for a mistrial for prejudice among the prosecution, because there was clear prejudice in the questioning that they were doing. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. As far as I know, that it's still going. I mean, it happened all day today. Is it supposed to go to jury on Monday? I don't know. Let's look at that. Rittenhouse. Oh my God, watching him dress them down was priceless. Okay, so it says here, after closing so Monday will be the closing arguments. After closing arguments on Monday, names will be drawn to decide which 12 jurors will deliberate and which ones will be dismissed as alternates. So we'll see what happens. In deliberation, it can last a few minutes. It can last a really long time. Mistrial with prejudice would mean he can't be retried. Yeah, but it looks like the judge didn't grant that. I know they asked for that, but I wasn't granted. Not yet. That's Monday, hopefully. Yeah, Monday they will go into deliberation, but that doesn't mean they're going to have an outcome on Monday. Where is Sarah from state? I'm from Georgia. Did you guys already discuss the crying from Kyle? Yeah, it was clear he had PTSD. We did discuss that. I sure hope I hope he gets off, and I hope he sues all the slander like crazy. And it's so fun. You can totally see the bias in people, and how people, instead of seeing the facts, again, like, you can tell right away who watched the trial and who looked at the evidence. It's so clear. It's so clear as day what happened. And if you're somebody that's still like, he's a this or he's a that, if you're one of those people, you clearly didn't watch the trial. Kick that dude. Wow, there's a lot of those here tonight. You clearly didn't watch the trial, and you clearly haven't watched the evidence. I don't take you seriously. It's so clear as day. Guys, it is on camera. All of it is on camera. So I don't take you seriously. I don't. You're clearly not someone that cares about the truth. You're clearly not someone that cares about justice. You care about whatever your preconceived narrative is, and that is it. And it's done as done can be. I'm sorry, that's it. It's just there. It's on camera. So if you're still trying to slander Kyle, if you're still trying to troll and slander the people that are defending him, you didn't pay attention, and I don't take you seriously. And you can go bye-bye, because you clearly don't care about justice. Therefore, I don't care about what you have to say. I mean, it just is what it is. These people are insane, and that is exactly what is wrong with our country. There's too much tribalism. There's too much, there's too much, I need to defend my ideal before I defend what is right. There's too much of that, and that is exactly what is wrong with this country. Take a step back, admit that sometimes you might be wrong, Admit that sometimes you don't have all the information, and that's that. It's not a big deal. Like, these people are just, there's something going on, there's something wrong. I don't know what it is, but I don't take you seriously. Johnny Depp has also recorded evidence on his side. The media still took Amber Heard's side. That's another case I didn't really pay a whole lot of attention to, because you can only be in so many things at once. You have to admit if wrong, if find out new, exactly. And there's nothing wrong with that. I do that all the time. If there's new information, I'll be like, I was wrong about that. I found out new information. That's it. I have more respect for people that can do that. And in this case, it's just so clear. In some cases, it could be a little bit of opinion. There could be an argument to be had, but it's so clear. And it's like, if someone wants to have a discussion, you can have a discussion. But most of these people that troll are like, he's a murderer, or he's this, or he's that. They don't want to have a discussion. I don't know. It's so weird. People are weird. The internet is such an interesting dive into psychology. Anyway, let's segue to Travis Scott. Life is a constant learning experience. It sure is. Kelly, I like Elijah. I do too. The interesting internet. I like Elijah too. But if you wanted to talk about Travis Scott, I've been really deep diving into this whole thing too, and it's wild. Oh, and that's the thing too. So if you look at the title of this live stream, I have Kyle Rittenhouse in the title. So that also brings a lot of, oh God, not a Travis Scott. Well, okay, so this is what's interesting about Travis Scott. So first of all, the reason I like talking about this is because of this situation. A lot of these young people that were at his concert, a lot of the young people that were fans of his are like, whoa. And this is the thing I always try to tell people. Are you serious? Most people do not know that Kylie is actually, what? Oh, free Kyle. I was like, what? I thought you said Kylie. Okay, so here, I'll read you. So Travis Scott, he's a big famous rapper. A lot of like really young people like him. And he had, oh no, I'm kidding. Okay, I was gonna tell you. So he had a huge concert over the weekend, and he's gotten famous by, he got super famous, but he's known for his concerts he calls them ragers. He's been in trouble 2 times before for inciting violence. Anyway, I'll read you the update on what's going on. But the reason I've been so interested in this case is it's to me, this is more of power to the people, which is kind of the Britney case, which is what I talked about. It's power to the people. And what is it? Culture is upstream from politics, or politics is upstream from culture. That's why I like talking about this stuff. But a lot of people in this Travis Scott situation, they're calling out the fact, like I said earlier, everyone railed Dave Chappelle for having jokes that they said were violence. Your jokes are violence. Well, this person caused actual violence at his show, and the media is being a little bit nicer to him, which is odd. Now we have 9 confirmed deaths. So there were 8 at first, and unfortunately a young lady, like a beautiful young lady, passed away from her injuries within the past few days. So now it's 9. And her mother, I watched the press conference with her mother, and this was this young girl's very first concert ever. And she passed away from her injuries from the concert. And Travis Scott, he's been in trouble 2 times before for inciting riots at his shows. He brags about his people that come to his shows getting injured. He calls them ragers. He encourages them to get crazy and all of those things. I've been to rock shows before. I've seen mosh pits before. This is just a whole different level. There's something else going on here. But I'll read you a little bit of what's happening now. So good for his fans. He's being sued. He's got over 100 people at those shows, at that Astroworld show, suing him. And this is sort of the update. But again, like, I'm so proud of these young kids. So I talk about how I'm on TikTok sometimes, and I know a lot of people think TikTok is degenerate. And it is in a lot of ways, but it's also really cool. It's a really cool way for people to make short videos, for them to go viral, and for people to speak their minds. And that's what a lot of these young kids are doing. A lot of the young kids that were at his concert, a lot of the young kids that were fans of his, and they're speaking their mind and they're like, this is not cool. And I'm seeing really young people say, guys, stop idolizing these people. They do not care about you. And that's what young kids are waking up to. They're saying, look, you know, it's okay to be a fan of people, but stop idolizing people. They do not care about you at the end of the day. And it wasn't just the culture that he sort of created with fans going crazy and getting injured. It was also the poor setup of the show. It was the poor setup of the security. They didn't have walkies. They weren't doing their jobs. This was a huge chain of events that happened on so many different levels that was just like, they don't care about the people there. They're just trying to make money. So it was a lot of things all together. But there's over 100 people suing Travis Scott right now because of their injuries or emotional damages. And this is Travis Scott's history. So I'll read you his history. Would serve him right to lose everything. Yeah, and what broke my heart is I watched interviews from a few kids and they were like, these kids are traumatized. Like, they saw people die right in front of them. They saw people lose their lives. It was very terrifying for them. They couldn't breathe. They didn't think they were going to make it. I saw one kid give an interview and he was like, I'm a college student. I saved all my money to be able to go to this show. And this is what I saw. So anyway, it says here, years before 8 died at Astroworld Festival, Travis Scott would brag on social media about his fans getting hurt and passing out at his shows, even suggesting one would be a hero if he didn't survive a New York gig. The 30-year-old Sicko Mode star, that's one of his big songs, under fire for playing on Friday's Houston festival as 8 died and hundreds were injured, still has disturbing images on his social media celebrating previous scares. One of the most disturbing posts shows a young man seemingly unconscious on Scott's sold-out 2015 show at Manhattan's Webster Hall. To the kid, and this is what he said on the post, to the kid that didn't survive the rodeo, you're a hero in my book. And he posted a picture of this kid passed out at his show. The image was posted the day after this show with Young Thug and Thug at the East Village venue. Just before it, he also posted a video of the crowd reacting to him playing a song. He also posted another image of someone seemingly out cold at a 2014 show with a simple caption, "What the F?" So he's posting pictures of his fans passed out at his show. I don't understand why he's popular either. I'm not a fan of his. I tried listening to some of his songs and I don't get it. That's just me. Among the photos of his girlfriend Kylie Jenner and their daughter Stormi, Scott also posted other images glorifying fans' injuries, which compiled many of the posts. So one said, "She broke her hand and she doesn't give an F," he wrote. While another bragged, "It's not a show until someone pass out." So these are the type of things that he's bragging about and why people love him. Like, young people love him. One image shows a smiling young man with blood pouring from his right eye, with Scott writing, "I love you." Many of these posts remained online, but the two of unconscious fans appeared to be deleted at some point Wednesday. Okay, so many of the posts remained online, but two of the unconscious fans appeared to be deleted at some point on Wednesday after the post first reported on them. The images had horrified many fans of Scott, who had insisted he always tries to help fans. I'm not going to show you the images, but if you want to look this up, this is New York Post. Yeah, so someone says Scott has incredibly demonic. Yeah, I agree with that. And here's the thing, a lot of people are saying, you know, there's all these kids on, I always stand with the kids. I used to work with kids. Like I always get so proud of young people, and they like, that's why I think I was connected to this story. But Danielle, I haven't heard of one song on him, and I'm glad I haven't. Danielle, I agree. Well, when I started hearing this story, when the Astroworld thing broke out, I was like, what in the heck happened? So I'm looking into this, and I started listening to some of his songs, and I'm like, I don't understand why people like him. I don't understand why this is good, but a lot of people love him. That's why all these people went to the concert. Never heard of him before last week. Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of young people, I don't necessarily believe in all the conspiracy theories about him, but I will say this, things have an energy, and I really do believe that. And you might not, like, I don't sort of subscribe to all the like super crazy conspiracy theories, but I do think that things have an energy. And when you keep posting evil images and injuries, and you encourage people to rage, and he's literally, I'm not even joking you, I'm looking at this right now. I'm not going to show it to you because I don't know if I can. I'm looking on the New York Post. Travis Scott is showing images of his fans bleeding, and he's saying, I love you. So he's encouraging people to hurt each other. And he's like, the harder you rage, the crazier you get, the more you get hurt. Maybe I'll give you attention, and maybe I'll put you on my Instagram and I'll promote you. I'm literally, this is his Instagram. He has pictures of people injured, and he's promoting them. I actually, while I did not read through this particular article before I started this live, so I'm really shocked at what I'm seeing right now. And these are young kids. There's something, well, here's what it is. I saw a really good explanation of it, and it's like, okay, he's selling this demonic imagery, this evil imagery, because it sells. It's mysterious. Maybe some people think it's cool, and it sells. But he actually doesn't live this way. He's selling it. And maybe you don't believe in the conspiracy theories, but when you're subscribing to this, it does something to your soul. So I'm not saying that he actually, a cult sells, exactly, but it does. It kind of does something to your soul. I think a little bit. Kelly says, I don't like rap music. I actually do like, I grew up in Atlanta. We grew up on rap music. I do like a lot of it, but not all of it for sure. I don't like his type of rap music. Yeah, he is like Marilyn Manson in a way. But the thing about Marilyn Manson, I don't know. I would have to do a dive on this. I don't think Marilyn Manson actually encouraged his fans to hurt each other. It's evil regardless of beliefs. Most of us agree that that is an evil person. Exactly. And it does something to your soul. He might not have wanted, I'm not saying he wanted people to pass away at his show, but he is sacrificing their souls for his sales. Like this, he's selling. This sells. And that's what he's doing. This is his old image. And I think that's what he did. He's getting these young people to subscribe to this image, and he made it really cool to go out and rage and to get hurt. And that's what he sold. Do you think he wants to get hurt? Do you think he would go into a concert where he's packed like a sardine and where people are elbowing him and he can't breathe? Do you think he would subject himself to that? Absolutely not. Of course he wouldn't. He's sitting there perched on a stage. He has room. He can breathe. He can do whatever he wants. No one is touching him. Yet he'll subject his fans to this. That clearly shows that he does not give an F about his fans. Nope, he does not rage in his own... Exactly, he doesn't rage in his own crowds. Is it Tom McDonald? I love Tom McDonald. And I'll tell you what also, you can tell a lot about a person by their fans, by their fan base. Tom McDonald, I do videos on Tom McDonald, and every time I do, I get a lot of his fans that come on this channel. They are the sweetest people. They are so nice. They are so supportive. They are so respectful. Yes, he has a song. I want to look at that tomorrow. They are so respectful. They would never act like this, ever. At least I think. But I'm just saying that speaks of Tom and how he conducts himself and the message he sends. His fans are the most awesome people. I will say that every time I do a Tom video, I get his fans, a few of his fans on this channel, and they are the absolute nicest people ever. And to me, that just speaks highly of Tom. The TS fan base destroyed the security checkpoint. Yeah, and this is what happened earlier in the day. So this is something that Travis also does. He encourages his fans to break barricades and to break into his show. And earlier in the day, before any of this happened, before he went on stage, before the trampling happened, there were people that were jumping over security barricades, tearing down security barricades, and running into the show. And they were already trampling over people. I don't actually know if anyone got injured during that time, but I think this was like 9:30 in the morning. They care about money. Yes, Kelly. This was very early in the morning. Someone said, love Tom. I love Tom too. And by the way, Tom's fans are a reflection of him, and they're awesome too. I can't say enough. Really, I really think that that's a reflection on the person that you are. But yeah, you had these kids that were trampling over each other to get into this show and to go to the merch line, and not even paying attention to the people that were, there was literally a pile of people when they were getting into the show, when it was still daytime, before anyone was even on stage, and they were trampling over each other. There were people screaming while other kids are trampling over, and no one stopped to say, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? No one. And here's the thing about Travis Scott. A lot of people will defend him, and they'll say, well, he was on stage. He didn't know what was happening. He didn't know what was going on. He clearly saw the ambulance. He clearly saw at least one person that was unconscious. I don't know if that person passed away or if they were just passed out, but he clearly saw one person unconscious that was being crowd surfed to medics. He also saw a person getting CPR. And there was a mass casualty declared 37 minutes before the show stopped. So he didn't stop the show. And okay, maybe he didn't get communication. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he didn't get that communication, and people pass out at that's what people say. Well, people do pass out at concerts, and they do. I told you guys about the one music festival I went to that was like electronic music, and I saw people passed out from drugs, and I was like, I'm never coming here again. So it is true, people pass out at concerts. But when you see that many things happening at once, you would think, at least, even if you were not, let's give them the benefit of the doubt, let's play devil's advocate, even if you didn't know when you were on stage how bad it was, you would think when you get off stage, when you're done with the show, and they still ended the show early, so there was clearly a reason why they had to end the show early. So you would think that he would be like, why did we end the show early? Why? Oh, by the way, that ambulance, did it get to the person? Was the person okay? Like the guy that was passed out, was he okay? The person getting CPR, were they okay? We all good? Should I go to the after party? Should I stay? What's going on? He didn't do that. He left and he went to an after party. And here's another thing about him. So before he lawyered up, he said, I didn't know what happened until I got to the after party. And then after he lawyered up, he said, I didn't know what happened until the next day. And then he said, oh, and then he made a plan with BetterHelp, which, by the way, if anyone knows, I never heard of him before this incident. I knew him because I guess because I'm just entrenched in the news all the time, so I know about he's the Kylie Jenner baby daddy. I don't think they're married, whatever. But a lot of kids now are like, I don't like Kylie Jenner anymore. I don't like the Kardashians anymore. And I'm like, well, good. You're finally waking up. These people, they don't care about you. Kylie knew because she deleted her tweets. Yeah. So that was another thing. Good evening, Brax. Oh, that's Danielle. Danielle's so sweet. Yeah, that's another thing. So Kylie Jenner, which is one of the Jenner Kardashians, you guys know. So she's coming under fire too, and a lot of her fans are canceling her now, or they're not canceling her, but they're turning their backs on her because she posted an Instagram story where she's like, oh my God, this is so awesome. Like, look where we are. And she posted an Instagram story where she's looking out into the crowd and you can clearly see the ambulance in the crowd. And she didn't delete that, I think, until the next day because she got so much backlash. And now a lot of her fans are like, screw Kylie, and they're dumping her products. And it's just kids that are waking up to, like, why? You know, it's these people, and I lived in West Hollywood. I think that's why I have such an opinion on it, because you see these people out and about and you see what they're like in real life. And these are not people that you should be idolizing. Like, they're really not. They're not the best people. Especially someone like, people like the Kardashians. I mean, come on, when you get that much plastic surgery to look like a different person, you clearly have issues and you maybe need therapy. No girls should be looking up to you. And they promote diet products and makeup and all this stuff. Meanwhile, they got so much plastic surgery. That's why they look the way they do. And I think it's damaging to young girls. And I used to see it in West Hollywood all the time. All these girls would spend so much money getting plastic surgery to try to look like the Kardashians. I don't like the Kardashians, but I like the Chrisleys. Oh, are those the Chrisleys? Are those the Southern people, the Georgia people? Supposedly people were on top of the ambulance cars blocking the men. Yes, so this was happening also. I heard about the ambulance. I didn't see videos of people on top of the ambulance, but I did see a video of people. There was a golf cart that was trying to get out of the crowd, and it had a girl that was having a medical crisis in the golf cart. And there were guys on top of the golf cart, like, dancing. And this is what a lot of kids are seeing too. They're like, what kind of degenerate people are we that this is okay? Someone's having a medical emergency and you're on top of the golf cart dancing. You don't care about that person. You don't care about human life. All you care about is getting this footage on your phone to do what? The Kardashians are also too much makeup. Yeah. Oh, so Braxton said a 9-year-old little boy is now on life support. Yes. So this 9-year-old little boy, this is very sad. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, what in the world was a 9-year-old little boy doing at this show? I understand that, but let's not look at that right now. Let's look at, first of all, the dad might not have known about what was a 9-year-old doing there. I knew that was coming. I knew it was coming. But think about this. And this is my problem with some of these artists. Travis Scott and, what is his name? Lil Nas X. They market themselves to kids. So Travis Scott is on a game called Fortnite, and he has a character on a game called Fortnite. And that's why he has an audience that's very, very, very young. Because Fortnite is targeted towards young people and kids. The same with Lil Nas X. So Lil Nas X, he was also on a kids game, a younger kids game. And he used to, when he had his first song, Old Town Road, he actually used to go to elementary schools. And now all of his songs are like really adult, which that's fine if you have adult content, but they also market themselves to kids. And this concert was all ages. So I get what you're saying about what was a kid doing there. I don't know, but they were not in the front. And what happened was the dad was holding the kid up. Whatever happened to standards of decency, people don't care. So the dad was holding the kid up in the air so that he didn't get trampled on. And the dad stopped being able to breathe because of the crowd and passed out. No YouTube videos will be doing all videos soon? I don't know what that means. It was meant to be an everyone festival because even kids have on the Astroworld album cover. Yeah, I agree with that. Okay, thank you for making that comment. So it was supposed to be, and I've seen that, I've grown up going to music festivals. I grew up in Atlanta. They had all kinds of music festivals. We had Music Midtown. We had all kinds of stuff. And you would see kids there, and it was safe. It was fine. They wore their little earplugs, and the parents would take them around. And I heard a lot of people, like, obviously I wasn't there, I don't know, but I have heard a lot of accounts that said we purposely were standing in this place because we wanted to be safe. You know, we knew how these concerts were, so we purposely positioned ourselves in like this area because it would be safe. It would be away from like the mosh pits and the crowds and stuff like that. And a lot of these people saw horrific things and also feared for their life. So it was an all-age concert. And again, like, they market themselves towards kids. So, oh yeah, okay, so that did happen this week. So YouTube, I don't know when they're gonna roll this out, but YouTube did announce that they are going to be ending displaying the dislikes. And a lot of people are speculating as to why they're doing this. Do yourself a favor, don't take my word for it, but do yourself a favor and just take a gander. Search the White House on YouTube and go to the White House official YouTube page and look at all the likes to dislikes. And then you'll be like, oh, this is why they're doing it. So you can't see how many people dislike Joe. Exactly. And you know what's funny too? We were just talking about Gage Gross. Gage Gross. We were just talking about Gage Gross and his appearance on Good Morning America. So if you search that on YouTube, do yourself a favor and do this too. Search Gage on Good Morning America, the same article that you and I were just talking about, and look at the like to dislike. It's hilarious. There will be like 300 likes to 15,000 dislikes. So if that gives you hope. Maybe because Circle Back Jen. Oh, it doesn't matter. The dislike button is... Well, the dislike button, you know, I like it because it gives you a little bit of gauge on where people... It gives, like, regular people watching these videos a voice. And for me as a creator, if I get a lot of dislikes, I'm like, okay, I probably suck that day. Maybe I'll be better. Maybe people don't like this. Okay, so someone said it's... Oh, okay, here we go. It's 337 to... 21,000, okay, 337 likes on the Gage video, 21,000 dislikes on the Gage video. Thank you, whoever just said that. Greetings from South Florida. Greetings. I was just talking about Key West with somebody last night. I talk too much. Whoa. Okay, so back to Travis Scott. That is called getting ratioed. Yeah, it is. If you follow any of my Instagram stories, if you go to my Instagram and look at my stories, I posted a few ratios today. I like to regularly post those ratios on my Instagram stories. They're fun. So I am really going to miss the dislike button because I won't be able to post those anymore. So I was telling you that Travis was posting pictures of people that were injured at his shows. And so a lot of fans were finding these pictures. And one person said, there's no way you posted this in real life. Damn, these are not looking good years later. So good. What's your Insta? Have a link to follow? Yeah, I think I can put a link up. Can I comment on my own thing? Oh. Chat. I want to chat. Top chat. Live chat. Super chat. How do I chat? Snowflake. I'll tell you. It's just my name. If you just know my name, you can look that. Wait, Hassan Piker is the guy who said America deserved. That guy is a tool. I'm sorry. Here's what I think of Hassan Piker. I haven't watched too much of his content, but what I've seen, it's almost like some of these people just rely on low information people watching their content. But he's another one of these guys that advocates for socialism, yet he lives in a multi-million-dollar house. And, oh, thank you. Who just sent that? Hold on. Frank, God bless you, Sarah, and all your followers. Thank you so much, Frank. That's really sweet. I can see myself. Who downliked me? Speaking of downlikes. Thank you, Frank. I saw your welcome thingy. I don't want to hear myself. He is somebody, like, it's so funny, like, Hassan, first of all, he preaches socialism. This cracks me up so much about people that preach socialism, because it seems to be the people that preach socialism are typically the biggest beneficiaries of the meritocracy. So Hassan, he bought this, I think it's like a $3 million house in West Hollywood, which is where I used to live. It's very expensive to live in. By the way, $3 million in West Hollywood, that sounds like a lot. It's really not that much. But he bought this super expensive house. He makes, I think, somewhere to, this is so weird. I'm watching myself right here, and then I see myself right here. The dislikes are the folks in the corner. Oh, I just got another one. Who did that? So Hassan, you know, he preaches socialism again, but he makes, I think it's like, there was a data leak. He makes like $200,000 a month on Twitch. He's a Twitch streamer, which there's nothing wrong with that. Good for you. It takes a lot of hard work to do that. Whether I like you or I don't like you, I can respect the hustle, and you clearly have worked to do that. And I believe in capitalism, and good for you for doing that. But the funny, and he defended it. He was like, yeah, people are, you know, trying to dunk on me because I have this expensive house and because I preach socialism, but I have this expensive house because I work hard. And I'm the one that works 10 hours a day, and I'm the one that streams. And I'm thinking to myself, like, yeah, that's great. I applaud you doing that, but you're a capitalist. You're not a socialist. So again, it's like the biggest beneficiaries of capitalism are the ones that preach socialism. It's quite funny. And he doesn't understand that angle of the criticism, or he does, but he just knows that his audience will just believe whatever information he spews out, because he has a very, very young audience. And I believe there was a study, like a very alarming percentage of super young people are socialists. So it's either him just not being very smart, although I actually think Hassan Piker is smart. I just think he knows how to appeal to his audience. So he knows his audience is really young. He actually calls himself a babysitter. So he's aware how young his audience are, and he knows that they'll just believe anything that he spews out. And he's loud, he's abrasive, he's charismatic. So they're like, oh yeah, he's right. My favorite thing was, and this is what he does. I have seen a few debates where I think that he did good and he was fair, but I saw one debate with him and Larry Elder, and again, this is exactly what he does. He dunks on people. So he's debating Larry Elder, and he was like, oh, thank you so much, Mandy. That's really sweet. Thank you, Mandy. So he was debating Larry Elder, and he was talking about something that Trump said. So this was years ago, and Trump made a joke, and it was an inappropriate joke. You know how Trump is. I don't remember exactly what the joke was. But anyway, Hassan was trying to dunk on Larry, right? And he was like, oh yeah? Well, how do you defend that Trump said this? How do you defend this is what Trump said? And Larry Elder was like, well, it was a joke. And Hassan was like, ooh, I told you. That's exactly. So he was later like commentating on this debate that he had with Larry Elder on his channel. And he was like, ooh, I dunked on him. I told you guys he was going to say it was a joke. I told you. And that's what he does to his audience. And it's like, because it was a joke? It was almost like saying, I'm telling you guys right now, if I ask someone if the sun is hot, I guarantee you they're going to say it's hot. Watch. And then he'll be like in a debate, was the sun hot? And you're like, or is the sun hot? And you're like, yeah. And then he'll go to his audience and be like, oh, I told you they were going to say the sun is hot. See, I dunked on them. I told you guys what they were going to do. I owned you. That's what Hassan does. But I actually do think he's very smart. I just think he knows how he appeals, how to appeal to his audience. I miss Trump jokes, LOL. I thought they were hilarious. I did too. I didn't take offense to them. I thought they were hilarious, but you know how they are. Hold on, I'm writing my Instagram. I do a lot of stories. So if you look at my stories on Instagram, you'll be able to, because all the things that I research and that I get into, I don't really talk about on my channel. So you'll be able to see what I'm looking throughout the day, because I'm a news junkie and I'm always posting my opinions on stuff on my stories. And I don't always get to them on my channel. At sarahsansoni.com. Oh, not .com. That's my website. It's on my Instagram. There it is. Okay, so just look at that on Instagram. You'll see. I'm the only Sarah Sansoni, I think, in the whole world. Oh, I have a crown? That's cool. Kelly doesn't have Instagram? Kelly? I'm just kidding. He doesn't sound very smart. No, I think he is smart. I just think I think he's smart in the sense that he knows how to appeal to his audience. And that's why he has such a big audience. I really do. And I think there was a poll. I want to say it's actually, you guys, it's actually very... Oh, Chris? Yeah, Chris is already following me on there. Facebook. If you don't have Instagram, no worries. I'm just saying, it's just another thing you can... Yeah, he's making money. It is smart. I mean, there's different types of intelligence. But no, I think he's smarter than... Well, who knows? I don't know. How many young people are socialists? There's an alarming amount of people that are very young that believe in socialism. I want to say 50%, but that might be Sansonites. Oh, I like that. Sansonites. Socialism as popular as capitalism. 2010. They were fed that in school. Yeah. Now, what is going on? Trial with... Oh. We just spent an hour on Kyle Rittenhouse, I think. Hold on. I want to say it's 50% of young people are socialists. When I say young, I mean like early 20s and younger. Smarter than the average leftist isn't saying much. I can't find the study right now, but it's an alarming amount of people in that age range that subscribe to socialist ideals. So, you know, if you're a commentator and you know this and you can tap into that, that's why AOC is so popular with young people, and that's why Hassan is so popular with young people. What time is Kyle walking? I mean, hopefully he does, and I hope if he does walk, I hope he sues everyone. Frank, are you leaving? Bye. Did you see the woke Microsoft presentation to employees are required to mention their race and gender? No, I didn't see that, TNN, but I've been seeing a lot of those, and it's so wrong. I hope people know, like, I think employees, if you see something like that, you should be talking to some attorney somewhere and suing for that. I just don't think that's okay. That's none of their business. Okay, I do have, so, well, I'll head off after this. But I do have, like, a quick, since we've been talking about Alec Baldwin, I am not forgetting about Alec Baldwin. I want to follow this like crazy. So, hold on. Alec Baldwin is now being sued by the first person. And I'll just read you a quick update on that. Rust crew member Serge Svetnoy show the young people socialist. Yeah, exactly. Well, they don't know. That's why more young people. So someone was saying show them the evil sides of socialism. Essentially, is what he was saying. Well, that's why it's young people that are interested in it and not older people because. Kelly, OMG, I hate Baldwin. Actually, speaking of my Instagram stories, it was my recap of the week was this. This was my recap of the week. Recap was free Britney, acquit Kyle, sue Travis Scott, Alec Baldwin is a sucky person, and defund the media. That was it. That was my recap of the week. But it says Rust movie, and I think honestly, you guys, I think this is why Alec Baldwin has been acting so weird, is because I think, again, I don't think he intentionally harmed anyone, but I think that it's like the drunk driver. The drunk driver gets behind the wheel, but he's not intentionally going out and harming anyone, but his reckless behavior harms someone. I have a feeling that, I don't know, this is purely speculation, this is purely my opinion, I have no knowledge of this, but I just have a feeling that he was doing something maybe he shouldn't have, or I don't know. And I think that, I do know that Alec Baldwin is I don't like him. But here's what this says. I'll just read it to you so we're super quick. It says, Rust movie crew member Serge Svetnoy has filed a lawsuit against several key figures, including Alec Baldwin, at the center of the fatal on-set shooting that claimed the life of the film's cinematographer. That was Helena Hutchins. Svetnoy's lawsuit was filed in Los Angeles against various companies and individuals involved with the film, including producers and 2 crew members. It accuses Baldwin, Assistant Director David Hall's armor Hannah Reed, and other defendants of negligence that caused him severe emotional distress. The lawsuit comes after Baldwin fired a weapon during rehearsal, blah, blah, we know that. Svetnoy, who served as the chief lighting technician on set, was struck by discharged materials from the fatal blast. Noting he was narrowly missed by the bullet, according to the lawsuit, he blames the film producers for, among other things, failing to hire competent and experienced armorer. Simply put, there was no reason for a live bullet to be placed in the .45 Colt revolver or be present anywhere on the Rust set, and the presence of a bullet in the revolver posed a lethal threat to everyone in its vicinity. The lawsuit accuses the film's producer of breaching their duties by allowing real ammunition to be stored on set. Plaintiff is informed and believes, and on such information and belief alleges that the ammunition used on Rust set was never stored securely and was simply left unattended on prop truck. Okay, and you know what? So they're saying we're convinced that this was sabotage and that Hannah was being framed. We believe that the scene was tampered with as well before police arrived. Oh. Svetnoy has previously spoke of his trauma from the incident, posting on Facebook that he was holding... Oh, so he was the one that was holding her when she passed away. Was holding her while she was passing. Really sad. This is what's interesting about that type of gun, and I know one of you told me about this before, and I forgot. The same type of weapon that he had, I shot that before. When I went to the shooting range, that's the same exact weapon that I shot, and you have to pull the hammer back. So it was a revolver. I think is it called a single shot revolver or something like that? But I remember, and there's actually a video of this. On the video, you can hear the person behind me saying, "Did you pull the hammer back?" before I was about to shoot, because you had to pull the hammer back and then shoot. And apparently that was the same weapon they were using, which poses even more questions. And now people are saying, here's another article, So they're saying the DA investigating Alec Baldwin shooting knows who loaded the gun, which is weird. So this says, this is from the Independent, the district attorney investigating the fatal shooting on the Alec Baldwin set confirmed that she knows who loaded the prop gun that caused Helena to pass. Said she knew who loaded the gun that Baldwin discharged while rehearsing on set, but declined to comment further on the subject. So we don't know anything yet, but she just alluded to the fact that she knew who she said she knows who loaded it, but we don't know who it is. She didn't say. Baldwin believed the gun was cold, meaning it contained blank rounds. So that's it. She added that the prosecution doesn't have the same information defense as attorneys do, and it's available to invent blah, blah, blah. Okay. The DA also said that she was aware more live rounds were found on set in addition to the bullet that claimed the life, but did not reveal the exact number. She admitted that the question of how live rounds made it their way on set remains one of the most important factors going into a charging decision. It's probably more important to focus on what led up to the shooting because the moment of the shooting, we know that at least Mr. Baldwin had no idea the gun was loaded. So it's more, how did that gun get loaded? What levels of failure happened? And were those levels of failure criminal? She also denied the claim that Rust Assistant Director David Halls did not handle the prop gun on the day of the shooting. It has been reported, it has been reported that Mr. Hall signaled that the gun was cold and handed it to Mr. Baldwin after grabbing it off the prop cart. She said, yes, that does seem to be the case. She added that it was not the assistant director's responsibility to check the gun. Okay, so I don't know if you remember, but Baldwin was kind of trying to put blame on David Halls, and David Halls kind of admitted, like, oh my gosh, I should have checked it more. And I think that was really just his guilty conscience, like, responding to the stress. It says right here, she added that it was not the assistant director's responsibility to check his gun. So it wasn't David's job to check the gun. If he chooses to check the firearm, because he wants to make sure that everyone's safe, he can do that, but that's not his responsibility. So he seems to be cleared of responsibility. And that was someone that and this was what was awkward about Alec Baldwin. He was sharing all these stories on his Twitter, and they were like, well, this person kind of looks guilty, and this person kind of looks guilty, or this person apologized for not checking it. And it almost seemed like Alec Baldwin was trying to just take the attention off him and put it on other people. So we'll see what happens with that, but that's what's going on. The first person is suing him. Hollywood millionaires and fire. I didn't see the rest of that. Deflect. How many guns were upon that table? Yeah, exactly. Well, those are a lot of the questions. A lot of the questions that are being asked. It's weird, though, because, I was really looking into this whole Travis Scott thing and then was sort of diving into this whole Alec Baldwin thing. And there seems to be a theme with both of these situations. There's like a chain of responsibility, and at each level, there was a failure. And it seems to be these Whoa! Alec Baldwin is trending on Twitter. Why is he trending on Twitter as we're talking about him? Let's see. Is there new news? Oh. I'm not going to tell you I have to go. Just kidding. But before I tell you this, there seems to be a theme with both of these productions. They're both productions, essentially. They're just different types of productions. They're going to make a movie about this. They probably are. But there seems to be a theme of people that are trying to do these large these productions to make money, and they're just doing them quickly, and they're trying to do them cheaply, and people get hurt because of that. Hold on, I'm clicking on it right now. You're gonna have to wait. My internet's being slow. Okay, so basically, Alec Baldwin portraying Alec Baldwin, yeah. He'll be like, can I audition for that? Can I read for myself? Okay, so it says, all right, so this is from Yahoo News. I don't know who they got it from, though, because usually they grab it from somewhere else. So it says, actor Alec Baldwin was not supposed to pull the trigger of the gun he was carrying in a rehearsal scene for the movie Rust that led up to Helena Hutchins' passing. Baldwin... Okay, so the scene being filmed called for defendant Baldwin, because he has a lawsuit against him now. The scene being filmed called for defendant Baldwin, who is seated in a pew, to reach out across his chest, draw the Colt 45 revolver from a shoulder holster, and point it in the general direction of the camera. Okay, so here's another thing. This is another part of the lawsuit. So this again is from Serge Svetnoy. So whether this is true or not, we don't know. This is just what he's alleging. So I have to be fair and say that. So Svetnoy is alleging, according to him, that this was not supposed to be shot. It was supposed to just be pointed in the direction of the camera and not supposed to be shot. So we still don't know. And apparently this was the suit added. So this is a part of his lawsuit. The suit added, the scene did not call for a defendant Baldwin to shoot the Colt revolver, which should not have contained any live ammunition. The lawsuit names Baldwin, who is starring in and producing the film, as well as assistant director Dave Halls, and the movie's armor Hannah Reed as defendants. Lawyers for Svetny in the lawsuit said in the lawsuit that Baldwin practiced his move for the scene with the gun being pointed in his direction. They said, suddenly, completely unexpectedly, the plaintiff heard the loudest gunshot that he has ever experienced on a movie set, explaining that Svetnoy felt strange and terrifying whoosh of what felt like pressurized air from his right. He felt what he believed as gunpowder and other residual materials from the gun directly strike the right side of his face and scratch the lenses of his eyeglasses he was wearing, and then we know what happened after that. So there's that. The revolver that Baldwin discharged was supposed to be loaded with dummy rounds, but live ammunition had been loaded into the weapon. Authorities have said the incident remains under police investigation. Svetnoy alleges in the suit that the bullet that struck and hit Hutchins and injured Souza narrowly missed him. Plaintiffs suffered injury, including severe emotional distress, as a direct and proximate result of this incident. The incident was caused by the negligent acts and omissions of defendants. Insiders reached out to representatives for Baldwin's and Reed about the lawsuit, but did not have a response as of yet. Production for Rust declined to commit to insider on the suit. So that's what we know so far. Sarah needs to be interviewed on Tinpole. Thank you. Okay, so there's that. That's what's going on now. Always check your weapon, and yeah, for sure. All right, I think that's everything I have for you all for tonight. Alec Baldwin walks into a bar. Oh, Alec Baldwin. All right, you all, that is everything I have. I'm going to go ahead and get off here. I hope everyone has a really good night. But that's it. All right, bye everyone. Good night. Thank you, George. Sarah, were you the girl on the grassy knoll? What does that mean, Kelly? Was I the girl on the grassy knoll? I don't know, probably. What was I doing on the grassy knoll? Was that 2 hours? That wasn't quite 2 hours. It was almost 2 hours. Bye, Kelly. You have to tell me what you mean. No. Okay, bye, Danielle. I'll see you in a few days. I'll see Danielle in a few days. You assassinated Kennedy. I did? Oh, JFK. Oh, I thought you guys were saying just kidding. Did you hear that? I snorted. Nobody heard that. All right. Bye, you all. Have a really good night. I'll see you later. Good night, everybody. Sansoni, an Oliver Stone film. Ooh, that sounds like a good film. Okay, bye, you guys. Thank you, I will. You'll see some of it, but I won't tell you yet. Okay, bye, you guys. See ya. Oh, Biden. Oh, gosh. I'm getting out of here. These comments are getting weird. Later.